Welcome back to Anything You Want, your destination for the stories behind the headlines. If you're new here, press subscribe, tap join to back the channel, and don't forget to like and comment so we can keep bringing you the moments that matter. Today we explore a relationship that has always felt cinematic, the renewed intimacy between Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç. This is a tale of evolution, restraint, and a single request that may change everything. There are romances that blaze and burn quickly, leaving audiences breathless, and there are those that smolder and deepen, pulling two people back together with a gravity that only time can explain. The story of Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç belongs unmistakably to the latter category. From the electric on-screen pairing that captured millions during Karalık Aşk to the real-life chapters they have written apart, their relationship has unfolded under public scrutiny and private recalibration. Now, insiders whisper that Elçin has quietly issued a proposal, not of rings and declarations, but of shared space and steady mornings. She has asked Barış to move in. Her ask wasn't impulsive, an acquaintance explained. It's the conclusion of experience, a desire for intimacy that is dependable, not decorative. In a culture where grand gestures are often equated with commitment, Elçin's request for shared domicile is quietly radical. It equates partnership with the routine, with the banal and sacred rituals of daily life. It suggests she seeks mornings that begin with shared coffee and evenings that mute the applause rather than amplify it. Barış Arduç's reaction, according to those close to him, has been one of gentle deliberation. He reportedly listened attentively and did not rebuff the idea, but neither did he leap into immediate agreement. He admires her courage and understands the meaning behind her words, a source said. But his current professional commitments, and a desire not to promise what he cannot fully deliver, have made him ask for time. Some have misread this as reluctance. Others see a cautious, respectful partner weighing a life-altering decision with the seriousness it deserves. If Elçin's request is understood as a plea for roots, it is also a statement of priorities. After walking red carpets in Paris and representing Turkish aesthetics on international stages, she seems to have returned with an inner ledger balanced differently. Fame and professional triumph remain central to her identity, yet what now appears to matter most is the foundation upon which those successes can be shared. She no longer wants romance measured by spectacle, another confidant suggested. She wants it measured by reliability. Social media has been an interpretive field for fans and commentators trying to make sense of subtle signals. Elçin's recent posts read like vignettes, a quiet coastline reflected at sunset, a single candle next to an open book, a photograph of handwriting that could be a line from a letter. These images have catalyzed speculation because they are deliberately fragile. They exist between declaration and privacy. When she posted a birthday message to Barış in simple, tender terms, a line about shared smiles, followers took it as an ostensible seal that their renewed closeness is sincere. Yet for some commentators, these gestures are more significant for their understatement than for their spectacle. There is an element of transformation at play here that goes beyond the personal. Both Elçin and Barış have matured in the public eye, and that maturation has reframed their relationship into something more complex than the melodramatic trajectories of youth. The romance that captivated television audiences once thrived on chemistry and narrative convenience. The rekindled bond now appears to be negotiating the practicalities of adult life, schedules that span continents, creative obligations that demand time, and the simple logistics of cohabitation. Choosing to live together is, in this context, a conscious alignment of life rhythms rather than an impetuous romantic leap. Meanwhile, tabloids have already prepared their most clickable headlines: speculation about engagement, rumors of a pregnancy, contrived narratives about conflicts between career and commitment. Yet the people who know them insist the current arc of their story is quieter, and therefore harder to monetize. This is not a saga of dramatic rebuke and dramatic reconciliation, one friend insisted. It's two people trying to align their lives with more respect for each other's needs. If that sounds ordinary, perhaps that ordinariness is precisely the point. For two stars accustomed to extraordinary scrutiny, ordinary life can be revolutionary. There is also a cultural dimension to this moment. Elçin's insistence on being grounded in presence, not merely promises, resonates with a larger conversation about relationships in the digital era. Public figures often perform intimacy as spectacle. Here, the pivot toward domestic normalcy performs a subtler kind of defiance. It asserts that what matters is not the volume of the declaration but the constancy of the commitment. If they choose to cohabit, their decision would join a growing trend among couples who prioritize compatibility and shared routines over performative markers of status. What of Barış's own transformation? Observers close to him describe a man who remains charismatic yet introspective. He is said to have been touched by Elçin's clarity and moved by her capacity to place peace at the center of strength. His reported insistence on ensuring any forthcoming promises are sustainable reflects not indecision but caution, a desire for fidelity to the truth rather than the magnetism of premature vows. Such caution can be read as maturity, not the absence of desire, but the willingness to anchor desire in responsibility. Before we close, a few concrete signs are worth noting. First, Elçin's demeanor in recent interviews underlines the coherence between her public statements and private intentions. When asked about strength, she spoke of peace, not power, of steadiness rather than spectacle. Second, Barış's increased presence in Istanbul and his pattern of choosing quieter public outings suggest attention redirected toward relationship sustainability. Third, mutual friends describe both of them engaging with the prospect of cohabitation as a shared project, rather than a unilateral imposition, a distinction that could prove decisive. If they do decide to take this step, the story will not end with a single photograph or a headline. It will continue in the ordinary, the shared routines, the negotiations about space and timing, the small domestic compromises that either knit two lives together or reveal incompatibilities that grand proclamations cannot obscure. If the broader public has anything to learn from their story, it is this: long-lasting relationships are not merely forged in the heat of rekindled passions but are tempered in the quiet demands of daily life. So, what's your verdict? Is Elçin's request the sign of a matured love that will finally find permanence? Or is Barış's careful response the counsel of reason in a world that often mistakes haste for devotion? Tell us below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to Anything You Want, hit that like button, and consider joining our channel to support longer, in-depth features like this one. Your engagement not only helps this community grow but lets us keep telling stories with nuance and heart. Until our next episode, keep your hearts open and your judgments tempered. Love is rarely as simple as a headline, and sometimes the most meaningful choices are the quietest ones. Thank you for watching, supporting, and being part of Anything You Want.